Hey everybody, it's Paul from Screenwriting Scribe. Today we're going to try something new in terms of screenwriting. I'm going to take a look at ScreenplayIQ from the makers of WriterDuet. They've come up with an AI way to do analysis of your script. So we're going to take a look at that today. And so right now we're on the webpage for that. You can begin to see it's ScreenplayIQ.com. And again, we'll just take a look at the breakdown of what you actually get for this. You can make story better decisions is sort of what the tagline is. And you can sort of see this is what hopefully the output will be. And I'll actually be doing this with one of my scripts, so you'll get to see exactly what happens when you put one of your scripts through. New era of script notes. So we're going to see, and I get what they're trying to do. There's been a lot of comments from folks that script services don't really give you helpful information. So if you're thinking about what the prices are, here's some of the different things that we can look at for some basic things. For story, for save time summarizing, you can sort of see what you get. And for TV, it's about $12 for that type of script, and for a feature movie, it's about $19. Now, the script that I'm going to be using is about 92 pages long. It's a feature movie. It's a vomit draft, meaning I just came up with it and just stuck it in there, so I know it needs a lot of help. But well, like I said, we'll see what ScreenplayIQ gets to say about that. Our next sort of level is sort of the one that is story plus character. You get everything from here, but you get a character synopsis, some visual representations of the characters, and that's about $39 for a feature. The one that I'm going to probably be going for is the full evaluation, which gives you everything from the first two things, plus a full assessment analysis, as well as theme breakdown. Plus, I'm probably going to add the proofread section as well, too. All of this is going to be from my own pocket. Actually, it's going to be from my YouTube revenue from last month. I'm going to use that to sort of my guide as to how much I can spend. So it's about $68. So if you guys watch more videos, I'll have more money to spend on stuff like this. But you can see you can do pitch materials, and we'll see this a little differently later on. Again, that's about $19 for an auto-visual trailer. Sort of tempted to do that one as well, too. So we'll see. And a table read as well, too. So maybe this is going to cost me like $100. So some of the things they have listed on the page as well, too. This is industry trusted, writer approved. Though the thing I always find funny about any of these testimonials is never include a last name. Which, you know, I get in some respects, and yeah, I don't know. I don't ever look at these as much as testimonials as I used to. And then the part I really loved about the website, helpful script analysis from Skynet, ScreenplayIQ. I thought that was a little funny little jab. Some things to know about this is it's secure, so no one else is going to get look at your scripts. This is WGA compliant, ensuring full compliance while protecting your creative assets, and it's also private. This stuff will not be used to train other LLM models. So basically stuff like ChatGPT or large language models or anything that are trying to learn how to do any of the AI programs that are learning to figure out screenwriting. Your screenplay will not be used on that. So let's take a moment here. I'm just going to scroll down to the end of the page here, but I'm going to show you what it looks like after I log in. And so this is the page you get after you log in. You could drag and drop, and as you see, I've dropped my vomit draft, which is called, really ironically, just a fast draft one. So the thing I've noticed about this is a very long process. I've been waiting at least almost 40 minutes for this to upload as of right now, so I'll let you know what will happen next. As soon as it gets uploaded, I can give you a better detail of how much stuff is going to cost. Again, my script is 92 pages long, which isn't that big of a script, but it's interesting that it's taking this long to load an FDX file. And if it didn't like FDX files, I wish it would say, hey, you can only use PDFs or something along those lines. But Final Draft is one of those industry standards where everybody sort of takes the FDX files. A lot of people have them and can move them from program to program. So like I said, I'll be back with you, and so we can take a look at how much this is going to cost as soon as it gets done finishing. Again, I've been waiting at least 40 minutes. You can sort of see the time up here is 3:40, and actually started this at 2:52, so it's more closer to 50 minutes, so almost an hour it's taken for it to just simply upload. So just know this is not a fast process. All right, everybody, I am back. As you can see, the FDX file is still going, and it's 4 o'clock. It's been over an hour. I'm assuming that's the wrong format. Again, I wish they would say something about that. I just put it as a PDF. It took 2 minutes. 2 minutes to upload and to sort of figure out. So let's take a look and see how much it'll cost. So if we take a look at, if I do the story, it's about $17.48, and there's a bunch of other different things I can add here as well too. And you can also see I can add story character as well. I told you I do the full thing, so here's a full evaluation. So 54.80 or 54.26. So let's take a look at the next part here. We can have it proofread for $17.48. So I'll find any spelling mistakes, formatting adjustments, and grammar suggestions. We'll try that as well too. So that's $71.78. So you could also do a dialogue assessment if you wanted to, a sequence assessment, which analyzes the sequences across multiple metrics to see how they may be interpreted. And you could also have a budget estimate as well too. So let's take a look at the next part. So for another $17, I could do a shareable video that encapsulates your script's potential with narrated key points. Let's do that. So just for funsies, so $89. You can do a table read for $91 or a synopsis video, which is in the beta phase it's just a shareable video that shares your story with a narrated story points and dialogue inserted to create an engaging visual experience. I don't make that much off of YouTube to do that as yet. I'm going to do cinematic, but you could do it as a 2D animation, as a 3D animation, or like I said, you can do a cinematic function as well too. So we can pay $89.24, and so I think we're going to give it a try and see what happens. All right, so I just checked out, and it brings me back to this particular screen. So right now it's loading. So we're going to take a look. So it started at about 4:06. I'm going to get rid of this. And so the only thing it's going to be doing right now is uploading. Again, I just used a PDF. We'll take a look and see how this turns out and see what it looks like and see how long it takes. So I will be back with you as soon as it is done. Hey everybody, I'm just came back a little bit later. This is later, Paul, and I was looking at the thing and it's telling me there's 6 hours remaining on this. So it's going to take a little while, so I will get back to you as soon as it gets done. But like I said, I think it's going to be a little while. So I can't wait to see for almost $100. I hope it's good. All right, catch you in a little bit. So as you're probably seeing from this video, it's a different day. Just so you know, it actually finished within about 2 to 3 hours. I think it was about 6:30, and I think the last time I looked at the video it was like 4 o'clock or something around then, 4:30. So it took about 2.5, 3 hours for it to do. So let's take a look at the finished product. So I just pulled up my dashboard, and we just click on the first, or we click on the Fast Draft PDF 1, and we take a look. So this is what we get. We can download the report. We can look at our settings, which is we can rename the script. We can change the author, add a label, or transfer ownership to somebody else. So let's take a look and see what our $86 got me. So first part here is it sort of gives me a synopsis. Trauma-fueled digital escapism meets small-town serial killer thriller, intense, introspective, gritty, darkly humorous, and redemptive. So as we go down through here and look, so we can take a look at now it's got different parts, and as we just scroll straight down, we can go straight to the parts if we want to click on any of these things. You can sort of see what sort of flavor it has. It looks pretty interesting. Some similar topics and tones would be The Shawshank Redemption, The Magnificent Seven, Prisoners, The Usual Suspects, and Zodiac. So it's a really eclectic type of movies that are all sort of patched together as to all these are very similar in topic and tone, which tells me that my topic and tone aren't very well with this vomit draft, which again, I'm not surprised. It just came out and I'm still working on it. It's just the first draft, so I know there's a lot to work on it. So let's take a look at the story. And again, we can use these little buttons up here to push between stuff. So as we go through here, you can take a look at the setup, the catalyst, the journey as we go through. And so as I'm looking at this in terms of notes, I need to sort of figure out, okay, is the idea that was in my head, is that coming across to the reader? Even though it's an AI reader, is it coming across? And I have to remember which version of the story I have because I've already worked on a different version. And I have to remember that in some versions of the story, I had him working with a partner, and in other versions I didn't. So as we look at let's just take a look at the journey. So the journey of Max's character, Max's investigation leads him to a dangerous affair with Morgan, I should say, a seductive and mysterious woman connected to the murders. This further strains his relationship with Linda and clouds his judgment. As bodies pile up and evidence points to Max, he must navigate a web of deception and confronts his own demons while trying to uncover the truth behind the killings. Max world unravels when he is arrested for the murders, forced to make a daring escape, and faces a real killer in a final high-stakes confrontation that will determine not only his fate, but also the safety of those he loves. I think it does a good job of sort of summarizing that, but to be honest, I sort of want more feedback as to, does the journey actually work? Does the scene sort of pay off? Do people fully understand that? And stuff like that. So you can take a look at this in terms of, we can look at a full synopsis and we can look at the structure. So let's take a look at that. As we look at the structure, it's got it broken down into acts, sequences, scenes, and long descriptions. And let's see if there's anything in particular that comes up. So sequences are orange. Do we want to... Well, that throws the acts out. Okay, so we want certain scenes. We can have scenes. So we can look at different things in here. So that's sort of how we can do this. We want just long descriptions. We can add those in or add those out. So it takes a look and helps us, sort of shows us, okay, we're looking at the sequences. There's a highway encounter, an urgent dispatch, rest stop horror, that type of stuff. So, well, let's run back and so we look at the full synopsis. So, yeah, it's you could do a brief 2-minute read, detail, which was what we had, simplified, a summarized version. So you can take a look and see. Let's take a difference between just the first paragraph on the brief look. So if this is the brief one, let's take a look at that. This is Max is a likable but troubled former cop from a small town struggling with the trauma of his partner Shane's brutal death during a mysterious axe attack years ago. Plagued by guilt and haunted by the incident, he retreats into online gaming, adopting a survival first mentality that alienates fellow gamers like Jasmine. His escapism strains his marriage to Linda, a dedicated veterinarian dealing with their own injury, who becomes increasingly frustrated with Max's irresponsibility and refusal to confront his past. So that's the brief. So let's take a look and see how it's different then. This is a detailed structure. So on the highway, Officer Max, a likable and small-town cop, pulls over a speeding driver Wayne. So it goes, well, it's more detailed. So it makes more sense. It goes into all of what actually happened to Max as to why he's doing the things he's doing. So this is a more detail. Let's take a look at the simplified one. Again, a little bit more detailed, maybe a summarized reading. So the synopsis gives you have some different ways to look at the synopsis. So I think that's interesting. The brief, the summarized, simplified, and detailed. I think those are all real good. I'll have to dig into some of those a little later on to see what those look like. So as we continue to scroll down here, so here is Envision. So this is the pitch trailer. This is what we paid $20 for. So let's take a look at this and see what it looks like. And we will...
Fast Draft 1 is a gripping thriller that blends the world of online gaming with real-world danger in a small town plagued by unsolved murders. It explores the fine line between justice and vengeance as a former cop turned pizza delivery driver becomes entangled in a web of deceit and violence. In this tight-knit community, economic struggles and a series of brutal killings have left residents on edge. The local pizza shop serves as a hub of activity where second chances are given and secrets lurk beneath the surface. The contrast between the mundane routine of pizza delivery and the looming threat of a killer creates a constant sense of unease. Dense forests on the outskirts of town become the stage for intense confrontations and revelations. Max, a likable former cop, grapples with trauma from his partner's death by immersing himself.
All right, so one thing I want to point out in this particular scene here, you can see with the AI, she's got 3 arms. It's done a pretty good job. I noticed with this as well too that the character model is close, but it's not always similar. I had pictured Max a little differently than this particular description, so it looks like I need to do a little better job on that. And like I said, you can see some of this stuff is not really applicable to what's going on. But like I said, so far so good. I mean, it's been interesting so far to hear this play out.
in online gaming, straining his marriage to Linda, a dedicated veterinarian. Tony, the compassionate Korean-American owner of the pizza shop, believes in giving people second chances, including Jimmy, his tough, street-smart manager with a criminal past. Morrigan, a seductive and manipulative woman, becomes entangled in Max's life, hiding dark secrets that connect to the town's violent history. A determined detective investigates the murders, his suspicions increasingly focused on Max as evidence mounts. When Max takes a job as a pizza delivery...
So I'm going to go back here for this particular scene here. I don't know who this other woman is that they're having. Now, Linda did break her arm, which is why she's in a sling. Actually, it was just a cast that I had her in the movie. Some of the other things I just wanted to just sort of note about is the descriptions of Morgana don't really fit with what I had described in the script. So when I see this, I was like, this is not even who I picture Morgana to be at all. It does have a little bit of the background of aesthetics, right? But herself, I don't agree with what the AI chose for what she looks like. And again, that's probably on me as a screenwriter. Maybe I didn't make it clear enough on what she looks like. So let's go back and see how it's doing.
Series of murders linked to his past. As bodies pile up and evidence points to Max, he must navigate a web of deception while confronting his own demons. His world unravels further when he's arrested for the crimes, forcing him to make a daring escape and face the real killer in a high-stakes confrontation. Max's journey from a traumatized, gaming addict.
So again, you can sort of see the difference that it's pretty they're similar, but not the same. I mean, the thing is, it's in the shirt's a little different each one. So I'm just looking at this in terms of AI generation. It's fairly close, so it's actually pretty good. A lot of times with AI generation, you don't get that good of images that are similar to one another. So I'm impressed with that. So I am impressed with that.
A traumatized, gaming-addicted ex-cop to an active investigator forces him to confront the guilt and pain he's been avoiding. His affair with Morrigan further complicates his life, pushing his marriage to the...
And then this is exactly this is how I wanted her arm to be. This is exactly what I want. Though it's funny, though, in other stuff, let's see if it's her other arm. That is the one... I think it's the AI had thought it was the other arm. So coming back, I found the image where it's her other arm. So this is the arm that's in the picture that we're seeing right now at 2:22, and at 57 seconds they have their other arm. You know, to be honest though, I don't think I really figured out or labeled which arm of hers was broken. I think I did in the script. I have to go back and look. But just so you know about that as well.
Marriage to the brink and clouding his judgment. Tony's belief in second chances is tested as the violence escalates, challenging his faith in human nature. Linda struggles to support Max while dealing with her own injury and growing frustration with his irresponsibility, ultimately playing a crucial role in uncovering the truth.
So again, we see different models for Tony, different models for Linda. Again, the cast is on the correct side. It's a different color now, which is fine.
The story explores themes of trauma, redemption, and the blurred lines between justice and revenge. It delves into the impact of technology on relationships and the struggle to confront one's past to move forward. The blend of small-town mystery, psychological thriller, and gaming culture will appeal to fans of character-driven crime dramas. Like Seven and Zodiac, it offers a tense, atmospheric investigation while incorporating elements of personal redemption reminiscent of Shawshank.
So when I hear this sort of stuff, I don't see that. I didn't have Zodiac and Seven inspired of that. The inspiration for this was more like the video game. I'm trying to Dead by Daylights was sort of the inspiration for some of it. But I didn't really pull on Seven or Zodiac, and maybe it comes across as that. And I don't think it does a very good job. Since I know this is my script, it doesn't do a very good job of investigation. But it does talk about personal redemption. It's sort of like that from Shawshank. So
The story's unique fusion of real-world danger and digital escapism provides a fresh take on the thriller genre for modern audiences.
So what did I think about that? I think for $20, I think it was okay. I think it was worth 20. Yeah, 20 I don't think is an overcharge for that. If they had said this was 50, I definitely would not pay for that. The AI model is pretty good. It holds the characters, or at least it does a good job of trying to give you characters that are very similar looking. As opposed to the story breakdown, it doesn't do a bad job of that. I just wish it would help me. It does. I mean, this is supposed to be for a pitch trailer, so that's why I know they're pulling out stuff like Seven and Zodiac and stuff to help get people an idea of what this would look like. And so I think this does help. I do like this particular function with the pitch trailer. I think it does a good job with that. I'd be interested. There's another one that you could buy that was substantially a lot more, and I'm interested to try that one. But after I do the edits on this one, this is the only time I'll go back and look at that. So let's take a look at characters. So as we look through each of the different characters, and the interesting thing is it takes images from that trailer and sticks it in here. So he's early 20s and the flashback scenes in the late 30s. Though a lot of times too, if you look at the images, he looks a lot older than that. He looks like he's in his 40s, maybe 50s. But the nice thing is it breaks down how many scenes he's been in, what his lines are at. It gives you sort of a profile of what he's like. Gives you significant growth, significant depth. Honestly, let's see the details because I'm not entirely positive about that. So it talks about speaking style. Max speaks with a gritty realism, his voice tinged with weariness of experience. His words carry the weight of past traumas, yet also hint at a yearning for redemption. In conversation, he oscillates between guarded defensiveness and moments of sobriety and candor, revealing a man torn between conflicting desires. And you can sort of see character emotion charts. This, to me, is bad writing. I can say that again because, hey, it's on me. I'm the one who wrote it, so I can say it's not good writing. Because I think you should see sort of a better pattern, and you're not. I mean, you're getting some ups and downs. So the nice thing is this is, okay, here's a red, and this is a major decline. And I want to say this needs to be sort of different. Like there should be some progressive downs, and then continue down and peak up. That type of stuff. I'd have to look a little bit better into the emotional chart, but from looking at this, I'm just like, I'm not. And to me, that this is helpful from the comparison of like, okay, I think I need to do some more stuff with here because he's made some good major improvements in his emotional states, which is right here, which is 75 to 78, which is good, but to get him to the low point that he needs, I sort of oscillate down here. There's some major declines, but I think it sort of feel like you would get whiplash when you look at that. So the other thing to notice about this too is sort of the percent of times that he's sad, angry, confused, gloomy, frustrated, surprised, overwhelmed, anxious. So let's take a look in the story map how this looks. So this is pretty neat. So you can sort of see very positive, neutral, negative. So there's some ups and downs within the scene, and it tells you what page you're on and stuff like that. So it's nice that it does have that type of story map feature that makes you look at it and go, okay, is that really true? Is that really not true? So let's head back. So there's some other characters. Tony the Tiger, I'm like, I don't know where he gets that. Maybe it's in the script, but I don't remember that. Any age? Well, yeah, I didn't do that. I have to, again, it's probably me as a script writer. If the software has to guess what his age is, he's not, I'm not doing a good job with that. I can't remember if this is, so some of these names here, like Mad Max, are their screen names. And here is something interesting. So, and I think I think this was the first draft because I think I corrected this in different drafts. I think she was called, she had a screen name. So this is if you've ever watched Twitch before, people are chatting, that type of stuff. So it does say right arm. She navigates while wearing right arm, though we've seen several pictures that was on their left. So it doesn't look like the AI can remember which side. So I did write for the right side. And then again, you can see different details. Jimmy, Jimmy was supposed to be Italian. So, okay, that works. It's not even close to who I think Jimmy was. And Morgan had a different name. I had a different name, and this might just be the drafts I give. I think in the first draft I had confused the two, and so I don't put this off on the software because I think it's the draft that doesn't do a good line. But the thing that it forgets to do, and let me load the next 5 because the problem was that voice here is Morgan, and so it must not have understood that in the screenplay that Morgana is also the voice, sort of like what you see in Scream. Yeah, I know I like Scream, so and don't hold me to the names. I just put something in there to keep writing. So let's take a look at some of the assessments that it has. So it says a gripping narrative with potential production challenges. Okay. This movie presents a compelling narrative that blends elements of crime thrillers with the backdrop of modern online streaming culture. It delves into the complexities of human nature as it explores Mac's character transformation. And I think, so part of the AI is getting it because the video game portion of this is actually relatively small. Max, what he does is he's like an online streamer. So I don't think the AI is getting that. Again, that could be me as a writer. It could not be understanding how I'm writing stuff. So that could just be all on me. So while the emphasis on dialogue over action presents production challenges, the emotional resonance of the story could captivate audiences. The film's potential will likely depend on securing strong performances and a visually engaging presentation that balances the digital world with the real-world drama unfolding on screen. So, like I said before, I don't think it's grasping the understanding that it's like online vlogging. It's like IRL streaming, and that's not really video games. So there's a video game section, but that section is really small within the film. So I don't think it's understanding that, which makes sense because it's an AI. I think a human reader would understand that a little bit better. But again, it could be writer error. I'm happy to take the blame on that. Like I said, this is a vomit draft. I just wrote whatever came out. So the unique blend of crime thriller elements with video game streaming culture. See, it's not a video game. It's just streaming culture offers a fresh perspective with a familiar genre. The narrative's exploration of trauma, guilt, and redemption adds emotional depth that will resonate with audiences. The reliance on dialogue over action might require strong performances to maintain engagement. So in terms of feedback, in terms of notes, what that tells me is I don't have enough action in my movie. And I think that's a problem. And so I think especially with this, there needs to be more action, or at least a lot better lines. The unpredictable storyline and integration. When you see that, the unpredictable storyline, that's not a good sign. So obviously I've not done a good job. Again, first draft. An integration of online streaming as a plot device presents both opportunities and challenges for visual storytelling. Oh, I get that. So let's see some general assessments of what it says. So this one here, it talks about genre originality, narrative methods, story driver. This one I want to read because I want to see what it actually says. The narrative balances character-driven elements with plot-driven structure. Character relationships and motivations play a role, but the focus is the sequence of events surrounding Mac's confrontations with his past and the series of murders. Mac's personal struggles motivates his decisions and reactions, forming the core of the plot. The story revolves around the murder mystery and the affair and the final confrontation. The thrilling sequence of events drives audience engagement, while Mac's transformation adds emotional depth. The series of events surrounding Max from his partner's death to Morgan's, I always want to say Morgana, I don't know why, to Morgan's actions is the driving force behind audience engagement. So, in terms of, it sort of tells you, like, the narrative method is more action or more dialogue. dialogue. So let's try it again, more dialogue or more action. And so we can see here where it's sort of making a choice. Okay, this is the two. So it's world of realism versus fantasy. And you can see that there's a little bit of fantasy, but it sort of stays on the side of realism. It's not as subtle or bold. Character evolution, characters are evolving or stable. It's a very emotional thing. Pacing, it's sort of fast, but it's so I would say once it says the film adopts a balanced narrative, that means I really need to work on the narrative pace because I'd like it to be a little quicker. So, and then thematic depth, simple versus thoughtful. That one I sort of resonate with. Language style, direct or rich. So that means I got to work on my dialogue, which is, again, isn't surprising. Again, it's a first draft. What do you expect? Plot predicament. I know I say that a lot, but I think I have to. I'm reminding myself when I'm doing this with you guys to say, okay, this is not a finished piece by any stretch. So we take a look at some of the themes that are there. Trauma and healing, redemption, justice and vengeance, human connection. We can take a look at the theme details, and you can take a look and see sort of one of the things it talks about. So it talks about each of those different things, the overview, the progression, the examples, conclusion. So the nice thing is it asks you to sort of think, are these the themes that you really want? You want a balance between digital and real worlds are possible. Real connections ultimately are more fulfilling than escapism. Okay. And it's nice too. It talks about sort of common tropes. The gamer who can't distinguish between reality and the virtual world. A dramatic unplugging moment when all technology is abandoned for a simpler life. And we don't actually fall into any of those tropes. I don't do any of those type of things at all because that's not what the story is about. I want to say that it's probably more about trauma and healing. And let's see so healing is possible through confronting the past, accepting help, and choosing compassion over vengeance. Yeah, I think that's the theme I was sort of going for. So that actually works pretty well. And looking at the different tropes again, you sort of get that with number 3, but he's still talking to people inside the game. So, all right. So if we take a look at the proofread section here, so that takes us down to here. For whatever reason, the proofread is not working really well. So the nice thing is you should be able to go back in, and when I first looked at this, it had the script here, and you can go in here and change stuff. So then you could say, all right, so let me guess, this is one of your former. So grammar or spelling errors, there's none there. So here over on this side, why is it doing this? All right, so this is the second attempt I've had. So whatever reason, it's really glitching really hard right now in terms of proofreading. So I'm really wondering, because I didn't have this problem beforehand. So if I do proofread again, let's try it. The nice thing about the proofreading, you can download it to look at it. And normally it should tell you, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different items. And so I'm trying to think of where you can fix stuff over here. It talks to you if there's a structure issue, a grammar spelling issue. On this particular side, it should come up with some little X's and stuff like that. It's really interesting how come this is having such a hard time loading in for this particular thing. So as we take a look here, so I can hit the green check and it'll clear up those particular things. And you can see that it fixes that. So then I can just hit the lights and get us going. So we'll see again, it fixes that. And if I don't like it, I can simply X out of it and I'll keep it the same way it does. Or I can use the pen and type in something I like. Again, this should all show up in the middle panel. I don't know why this is having such a hiccup tonight with this. So a little disappointed with the proofread, and that also, I had to pay extra for that as well too. I'm not liking this feature. Like I said, the first time I used it, worked just great. Now trying to show you guys what it looks like, it's not working at all, or it's really laggy. So I don't know what's going on with that. So I was a little disappointed with the proofreading. I paid extra for that. I wish that function would work a little better, but unfortunately it doesn't. The more analysis, just basically go back and you can reorder stuff. And I'll just show you again what that looks like. You can select different add-ons. They have something for $35.88 about sort of like dialogue assessments. That's in the beta. I wouldn't really trust that. I especially wouldn't be giving them $40 for that. It would be interesting to do a synopsis video. But again, I sort of think the pitch trailer worked out really well. And if this was something I was really going for, I might do a video. Table read, honestly, just throw it to fade in or even final draft, and you can do that. You can have your script's characters read the stuff as well too. So I wouldn't pay $100 for that. I think this is way overpriced. $91.80, $91.08. I think is way overpriced. I think this should come down considerably because the technology for doing that isn't as much. So I would say, maybe this is like $25. Then I would think about it. But it's interesting that this costs more than the synopsis video or the pitch trailer. So, and I think that's where the AI assets would be used the most, is creating images. So just my 2 cents. So my final thoughts. Did I have buyer's remorse? I would say yeah. I said I do. I don't think it really was worth the 80 some odd dollars I paid for it. I think I would have gotten better notes probably from a human because I think they would understand the language a little better. I don't think AI really understands what IRL streaming is. I really liked the pitch video. I thought that was done well. I did point out the flaws in it, but I think for what it was for $20, I thought that was a really nice feature. As for the feedback, I wish I could have had better notes. The sort of the tagline for ScreenplayIQ is that, hey, do this, and it's going to be, you're going to have these cool notes, and it's better than human notes. And I would say, honestly, they're just as generic as any other notes are. You hopefully would have somebody who does some attention to detail and sort of says, hey, this note really works, or this didn't really work. And I didn't really feel like that. I felt like this was definitely AI notes because it was all positive. There wasn't, hey, you really need to work on this particular scene, or hey, you need to do this, or this wasn't very clear. I mean, the way that I'm piecing all this together is looking at the notes going, well, you didn't understand that. You didn't understand that. You obviously didn't use the right character model for that. So yeah, I think overall, I think they're a little, some of their parts are pretty good. Like I said, I'm really disappointed with the proofreading. I spent $20 and I can't hardly even look at the proofreading now. And so that's really disappointing. Overall, like I said, go to Coverfly. It's free. You get as good a coverage as you do from this. And again, it's free. Plus you get to learn to read some scripts as well too in order to use Coverfly. So I'd probably do that. So what do you guys think of ScreenplayIQ? Did WriterDuet do a good thing with this? Would you use something like this? Did I just save you a bunch of money by showing you why this works or why this doesn't work? Well, let me know in the comment section below. Until the next video, live well and write well. And get your notes from a human.